Japanese card shops are one of the places where Japan isn't just a meme, but the reality. While some countries will have a commendable number of card shops in their area, it's more often the case that you'll have 1 to 2 in your area at best. Compare that to Japan that has 2,576 shops. Compare that to Tokyo, which has 296 shops, and then compare that to the Akihabara district, which has over 80 shops alone. In fact, in Japan, playing card games in your childhood feels like a rite of passage to becoming an adult. But so as lots of people travel from overseas to Japan to visit the mecca of trading card games, a lot of people ask me, where are the best card shops to go to? And most importantly, what do these card shops actually have to offer differing themselves from other card shops? So whether you're looking for how to play in Japan, how to get some singles, how to get some more high-end collectible cards, or simply just if you want to be a degenerate gambler, this is the right video for you in the complete definitive guide on the Akihabara card shops. And while you may think that you could just open up Google on your optcg browser and just search for card shops and sort by the ones with the highest reviews, think again, because it's a whole lot more complicated than that, and you don't even know which shops are really going to specialize or even sometimes sell One Piece card game cards. It's for this reason that for this video, I decided to collect a couple of card shops from various different categories that you can hit, and also I'm going to tell you my route to efficiently hit all of these stores at Akihabara and not waste your entire day just looking through card shops endlessly. Truthfully, there's a lot of bad card shops out there, and knowing which ones to avoid and also how to check if it's a good card shop or not is going to be half the battle. It's for this reason that before we set foot in Akihabara to show you my route, I first want to show you how to check and compare prices through the optcg browser, because optcg has done something truly special for me. I am actually now an ambassador for optcg. Being an ambassador for optcg is something truly special because it's something that they proposed to me, and what this means for you is two things. One, you get some more interesting, unique videos like this one that they encouraged me to make. And two, optcg and I have a little bit of a collaboration going on, but you'll hear a little bit more about that in the next video. Now, calling optcg mods a theme is doing it a disservice because there's so much that you can do with mods in optcg that you can't do in any other browser. From animated wallpapers to background music, tab sounds to typing sounds, custom icons to splash screens, optcg has so many different things that you can customize, and not only this, you can mix and match themes to make exactly the theme that you want to. Maybe you love the Gear 5 wallpaper, you don't necessarily love that the whole frame is purple. Well, you can very easily go check that at the theming inside of the interface. Switch that to any card that you like as long as you have the theme installed. And this of course doesn't change the Gear 5 Luffy wallpaper, so now we've made a completely unique mod. Because every single part of a GX mod is customizable, you're only limited by your own creativity when it comes to aesthetics. While you can already tell that the aesthetic of this browser is top tier, the functionality is even higher. And let me show you now how to check prices of Japanese cards. Now with this soothing lo-fi music in the background, let's go check out one of the best places to look at prices, and that's going to be Dragonstar. Now Dragonstar or Dorasta has a lot of card games, but if you just go to the one that you want to go to, you can see all of the prices of all of the cards, and this is generally the standard for what people use in Japan. Japan doesn't have a website like TCG Player or Card Market to just check the price of all cards in general, which is why we have to go through card shops. Dragonstar is going to be the main source a lot of people use because they're the most reasonably priced, but that isn't to say that it's the only place to check cards. I know it's a complicated system, but this is why you need to know multiple websites to even price check between them as well. So while Dragonstar will get you far, another one that I think that you should definitely check out is Card Rush. Using the split screen functionality of optcg, we can just quickly open up both websites at the same time within the same browser window and compare extremely quickly some of the prices, like the new 1000 Sunny that came out. Because this card came out very recently, the price is still very volatile, so being able to check between multiple websites in this very easy way lets you tell that, okay, this store is selling it for 600, this store is selling it for 380, you can expect to find it in Akihabara for around 500 yenish, and then you know if you're paying more than that, you're not really getting a great deal. For those who don't know, I actually started playing this game so that I can collect some cool cards to give to my girlfriend, who is a big One Piece fan. Her favorite character is Ace, so if you have some Ace cards, let me know. But I found an Ace card that we don't have in our collection that I want to try and find in our route around Akihabara. Now, as we can see, this time Dragonstar is a little bit more cheaper with 2,500 yen to 3,200 yen for Card Rush, and then so we can basically think that if we can find something in this range, then we'll be happy. And while I could just remember this, let me show you another really cool thing, because optcg has My Flow. My Flow is something that I've already set up, and this is a very easy way to share files and notes between my computer and my phone. So now I can just send myself a note extremely easily. And so now on optcg on my phone, I can just go to My Flow, and there it is, right up there, the Ace card that I hope to find in my journey. So now we're going to be going to Akihabara, going through all of the stores with these prices in mind to just find the best singles possible, and also show you some places where you can get some more high-end things as well. With that all being said, let's finally go to Akihabara and talk about some card shops. And here we are at Akihabara Station, the home of all things trading card games. I think the best place to start is going to be with one of the largest trading card shops when it comes to One Piece card game, Laugh Tale. So let's just go over there because it's one of the closest shops to the train station. So how's your day been?
Okay.
It's pretty hot.
It's very hot.
Yeah, I think it only gets hotter too. Regardless of the heat, right across the street is our first stop, Torekarafteru. And as quickly as we started our montage, we're already here at Raftel. This store actually used to have another location right down the street, but it's closed down because it was so successful, they had to make it much bigger. So let's go into what's maybe one of the biggest One Piece card game trading shops in the whole of Japan. Laughtail, if you couldn't tell by the name, is a dedicated One Piece card game store, so while you won't find any other card games here, it makes up for that with an incredible selection that you'll have a hard time finding anywhere else. From obscure Southeast Asia exclusives, rare promo cards and card collections like the Kumamoto Don card set, and some of the most expensive slabbed cards in the entire game, this is the place to check out if your wallet's feeling a little bit heavy. I guess I should also mention, sometimes in Akihabara you'll see these things, you know, these yellow price tags, discounted for a reason, they say, which basically means it has damage on them. So if you're looking for nice things to send off to PSA, for example, or things for your collection, then you can maybe look for things with a white label. But if you just want to have the card for the sake of having the card for a little bit cheaper, this is your place. Still, generally card shops in Japan have pretty strict standards even for single cards, meaning that even if these cards have yellow labels, sometimes you can't even see where the damage is. Later in this video, I'll show you how to actually ask the staff to look at the showcase cards. One of the nice things about Laughtail is that they're one of the few card shops in all of Japan that will buy and sell English promo cards and prize cards, even from foreigners. And by the way, this isn't some racist ploy by Big Japan. This is just so that you don't sell them fake cards and leave the country, because then they can't do anything about that. But this card shop actually will buy English cards if you bring them. Whether or not the price is actually going to be good, it's hard to say. But if you do want to ask them to sell cards, you can use the word kaitori. Kaitori means buy back. So if you flash your shiny Western cardboard in their face and say kaitori, they're gonna know what to do. And I don't want to voice over this one because I think it won't do it enough justice. This is probably the most expensive wall that I've ever seen in all of card games. We have like the top 8 in Japan, Luffy, we have the Pudding, Katakuri, all these cards so hard to get in Japan. Even the Zoro from the very first championship cycle. I feel afraid kind of even tapping the glass here. It's insane value. This store has enough things to talk about in an entire video, but because we need to talk about some other stores, let's move on. Because while Laughtail may have unmatched stock, the next store that we're going to show is one of the oldest card shops in all of Akihabara, with some of the best storage, as we call it in Japan. This store is Cardwings, with 3 whole floors of singles from countless popular and even some not so popular card games. If you're looking for some more obscure cards or just some decent deals on standard singles and alt arts, this is one of the better places to go. Storage cards in Japan are just basically bulk cards that are thrown in a bin, and if you find cards that are in there, generally they're going to be anywhere from 30 yen to, if they have a label on them, 100 yen. While most card shops will just chuck in the commons that really are worth about 30 yen, some places like Cardwings might bury some treasure in there, encouraging you to look through their storage and find some cards that you may need. If you're looking to make a deck from scratch in Japan and want to try to find some good deals without buying a full deck altogether, which I'll tell you how to do later on in this video, then looking through storage to find some buried treasure and buying the rest of the singles is a way to get a pretty decent discount on your cards. Now, this doesn't account for the time that you waste looking through the storage, but that's neither here nor there. Still pulling up MyFlow and Upper GX to check the card that I'm looking for, I still don't see the alt art ace that I'm looking for quite yet, so I think it's time to move on to our next card shop, which is actually right across the street from Cardwings in a very large building, Rajio-Kaikan. Built in 1957, Rajio-Kaikan is quite literally the place that made Akihabara what it is today. Largely recognized as the birthplace of the Japanese PC industry, Rajio-Kaikan was a cultural epicenter for microcomputer hobbyists, engineers, and all kinds of niche interests in the late 70s. And although Akihabara feels like it expanded outward from Rajio-Kaikan, inside Rajio-Kaikan there's a ton of card shops as well. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 card shops just in this store. And I'll give you a little bit of a pro tip about going around Akihabara, especially for card shops. Expensive, cheaper. So I'll show you some of the shops around here, but I think the ones up here are going to be the ones that generally have better prices, especially if you're looking for cards that you're actually trying to play. These are going to be the more tourist-focused cards. Just to give you a reference for what a bad card shop looks like, this is all of the stock that this store has. Not to mention it's pretty overpriced. But the shop next door feels like an actual scam. A lot of people like buying sealed product, and while you won't be able to find a store selling it at retail price anymore with the big TCG boom, some of these boxes are marked up anywhere from 6 to 12 times retail price. And just so you have a point of reference for how much a normal box is, because a lot of the times Japanese boxes are going to feel more cheap compared to English boxes, 5,280 yen is retail for OP16 and older, which means 220 yen per pack, but from OP17 the price of a box is going up to 5,760 yen or 240 yen per pack. You won't be able to find these boxes at these prices most likely, but just keep this as a frame of reference so you know how much you're willing to overspend for these slightly rare boxes. Before we go all the way up, this on the 5th floor is Magi. Now Magi generally has more higher end things. Right now, as we can see, apparently it's closed just for a business meeting, it seems. So fortunately we can't go inside, but we can see, they have lots of PSA slabs. This place generally has a very, very strict regimen for when it comes to buying cards. So you can be rest assured even if you buy singles that they're probably going to be very good quality. And of course, this place, they have boxes, and at least compared to downstairs, it does seem to be much better prices.
Literally, I think almost all the boxes are twice as expensive downstairs.
Yeah, no, I was scared. So yeah, I mean, Magi, higher end stuff, definitely better to come here. Okay, also quick shout out to Dashinban, also on the 5th floor. This place is just the best place when it comes to figures. Figures I know in the West are just very, very expensive. So if you're looking for those, Dashinban, one of the best stores to go to. But while you'll find some okay things at Magi, the true treasure in Rajiokaikan comes on the 9th floor. We've come to the top floor of Rajiokaikan, which means that not only are we gonna have a little bit more space, a little bit less people, but also much better card shops. We have Card Level right behind us, as well as right behind our cameraman over here. We have Full Comp, and then right to the side of him as well, we have a play area as well. This place, if you just want to come and chill with your friends, maybe you have a deck that you brought all the way from America that you want to play with some of your Japanese friends, me included, then this is the place that you just set up, chill for a little while and play. It's a really great place to just come, not only find singles, but also just play the game. I especially want to highlight Full Comp because it's deceptively large and it has a pretty vast selection at reasonable prices despite how close it is to Akihabara Station. I'm actually getting lost here trying to find the One Piece section because they move it around so often. Oh, like over there. Oh, I see, I see. It's a lot of cards though. Hololive card game, they had Yu-Gi-Oh!, they have Gundam, they have, both Yu-Gi-Ohs, that's crazy. Then Pokemon, and all the way in the back, One Piece. This I do need to talk about. Golden Dong, obviously you can use Japanese language Dong even if you're playing in the English language as well. So if you want the Golden Dong, they have everyone from the Golden Dong to the normal one to the foil version. All here, every single version of that if you want those too. And one last note about Full Comp as well is that they also have an online website similar to Dragon Star or Card Rush that we talked about at the beginning of this video. So if you want to check some of the prices beforehand, while they won't be completely the same, they'll be somewhat similar, so you can check here before you go up to Full Comp and see if you can maybe get a little better deal. So as we step away from the Rajiokaikan Purgatory, let's now go to someplace a little bit more quiet. While Card Level on the 9th floor of Rajiokaikan did have a play area, I think that the next place that we're going to is going to be even better, especially if you're going to play in some unofficial tournaments with your English cards. The next shop we're going to is Card Shop Pompoko. I'm sorry I didn't get good B-roll footage of this, but there's a showcase that has tons of very obscure promo cards, whether it's base shop card collections to Lekka figs. Not to be mistaken for sound loaders, which will dent your opponent's cards. But while the selection is decent and their staff are knowledgeable, the real reason you go to Pompoko is for the unofficial tournaments. Pompoko may have the most unofficial tournaments in the entire world, but a lot of these tournaments you do need to sign up ahead of time. In Japan, if you want to play in locals, you have to play with a Japanese deck, but for unofficial tournaments, most of the time the organizer gets to choose the rules, and they'll usually say that English cards are good to go, which means that if you want to play in Japan, the best way is not through locals, but through playing through unofficial tournaments. So let me show you how to sign up for those now. The most common website to sign up for unofficial tournaments is going to be through Tonamel. Through here, you can look through events, but you'll quickly notice that every single card game in the universe is listed here. But sorting by the One Piece card game, you can now see all of the events that are coming up in order of date. You can see how close to the end of my sponsor obligation that I'm filming this video. But now you're looking at all the unofficial tournaments in all of Japan. So now we need to go and look for Tokyo because we're in Tokyo, but for you, this may be a little bit different. And now actually right at the top of this list, we can see a tournament that finished just today. This is the Tenryu Cup, which takes place in Card Shop Pompoko. I personally recommend this one just because I know the person who organized tournaments. He puts a lot of effort into them, and also, as you can see, he opens them very, very often, basically once a week, if not more. Still, unfortunately, as that tournament seems to have already finished, we can scroll down to find something that's on a date that were more available. So for example, if you want to play card games and also meet Soda, a very famous figure from Twitter, then you can click on her tournament. You can also, first of all, check exactly where it is to make sure that it's in an area somewhat close to you. Then you can go to the entry, put in all of your details after you log in. And so while this one's just asking me for my name and my Twitter ID, sometimes they'll ask you for your deck as well, so just make sure to translate these, and then you just click enter, and then you're in the tournament. You just need to show up on time, and you're good to go. If you want to be absolutely sure that your English cards are usable in Japanese tournaments, you can try contacting the organizers, but most of the time they will allow you. So while this tournament by Soda isn't particularly in Card Shop Pompoko, as we saw with Tenryu Cup, a lot of them will be. And of course, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check out Tonamel yourself. But let's say that you do want a Japanese deck, whether it's for playing in locals or just for the sake of it, a lot of stores like Pompoko do have you covered there as well. Flagships, much more difficult, but locals, as long as you have a Japanese deck, very easy to play in. And these sorts of card shops, not every card shop will have them, but you could just buy an entire completed deck. And a lot of times, because the people who work here are actual card gamers, they're pretty good decks too. So in conclusion, Pompoko is great for unofficial tournaments, but if you just want to play the game normally, Card Double and Rajiokaikan usually has more open spaces because Pompoko oftentimes uses that space for unofficial tournaments. Unofficial tournaments, Pompoko. Playing, Card Level. Simple enough. But as we inch closer to one of my favorite card shops in Akihabara, let's mention another store that's on the way. Up some really ominous stairs, Dragon Star. There's actually 2 Dragon Stars in Akihabara, and while this one's really small, sometimes you'll find some really good prices here. If you're willing to endure the stairs, it's worth a check because it's on the way to our next location. But now finally we're going towards one of my favorite card shops in Akihabara. Cardon is a store by Tomohappy or Saito Tomoharu, and this is going to be the furthest card shop from the station that we're going to be talking about today. By the Akihabara law of location, that means that the prices are going to be the best in town, and I actually think that's true. Cardon actually has some really good prices, but the stock is generally low. But where they lack in One Piece stock, they make up for in stock of every single game that you've ever heard about. Whether it's Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, Lorcana, Flesh and Blood, Duel Masters, Vice Schwartz, Battle Spirits, Riftbound, we don't even have that in Japan yet, Final Fantasy TCG, Hololive, Grand Archive, Sorcery, I don't even know if that's even half of that. If it's a real card game, Cardon has it. So if you want to just check out what kind of card games exist in the world, or to maybe snipe some really good prices on some cards, I actually think this is one of the best card shops to go to. Okay, and we are finally here at Cardon. Let's just walk in because I think that the entrance really speaks for itself. Now, once you go down these stairs and past this sensor here, you suddenly open up to, wow, who is that but the man himself, Tom Happy. This card shop has basically every single card game that you can think of, and I don't mean that ironically. Like, I've never heard of Chaos. We have Buddy Fight. Who plays Buddy Fight, am I right?
Shout out to Ivo.
Of course, we have One Piece, we have Pokemon, we have Magic, obviously, because, you know, Mr. Tom Happy himself, big Magic guy. I don't think I could name even half the card games that are here. This looked a lot more serious until I pulled this out and saw it was an anime trading card game. They even have some original card games as well. There's another one called Kannagi Card, which was a game that Tomohappy himself funded, and they only sell here.
Everything's so cheap here for Magic because they don't like the characters.
So one of the nice things about this place is that you can immediately tell it doesn't have the yellow labels for the cards, but instead they have this system up here, where depending on the sleeve, you can tell how good it is. So the clear sleeve means that it's what they would consider to be good condition, scratches and whatnot, and then it goes a little bit worse and worse until you get something rather concerning. But I think most of the cards here are not even in the C or D range. While this card shop can't really compete in terms of location with other card shops, it can compete in terms of price. Because I think this place genuinely has the best prices when it comes to at least One Piece card game, and as we saw, with things like Magic as well. And while I think that Cardon may be one of the most player-friendly card shops, let's now go to one that's more specifically geared towards collectors. The next shop that I'm going to talk about is one that I wouldn't actually recommend if you're trying to play the game. Mercado has a reputation where they'll have extremely high buy listing prices, but they'll have extremely strict standards to boot. Even if there's an infinitesimal scratch on your card, they'll find it and they'll dock the amount of money that they're willing to give you for that card. Meaning that each card that you get from here that they say is in perfect condition, you can actually be pretty confident that it's going to be very good at getting 10s if you send them to PSA, for example. But let's be honest, you could give PSA a scratch card and they may still give it a 10. Mercado and the store next to it, Fukutoreka, are cards that I think that you should only check out if you're really looking for the highest of high-end cards. Right. Fukutoreka, this place, bunch of PSA cards. The prices can vary quite a bit. Sometimes you'll find good deals, most of the time you'll find bad deals, but if you're just looking for PSA graded cards or just really rare, really high rarity cards, Fukutoreka. And then actually, you know, just down the street, there's a bunch of card shops to talk about. Right over there, another Fukutoreka. This one's for higher rarity things. And then the one over here is more generic, like playable singles and whatnot. This store is actually not that bad. It actually has a second and third floor for a bunch of different card shops as well. So, place to check out, but not on my list of places you need to go to. And, you know, as you may have noticed, actually, we are on our way back towards the station. We've already been down this road, but, you know, everything in Akihabara is so close together. So really, it's not about knowing how far away you have to go for the card shops. It's about knowing exactly which ones that you can avoid. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. This video took quite a long time to script, film, and edit, of course. So if you're enjoying and watching up till this point, maybe consider subscribing because it helps me out in terms of YouTube's point of view. Still, we have 2 more card shops to go to, and the first one is Hobby Station. Now, although there's a really bad Hobby Station Radio Kaikan, this one's actually extremely good. We even have some live testimonials here when I was filming my B-roll.
And they're like ridiculously cheap.
This place has extremely clear pros and cons. It has very good prices, extremely low stock, but has one other thing going for it that other card shops don't really have, and that's sleeves. It has a bunch of different character sleeves from different games or even non-IP things that can go onto any of your decks. Whether or not your local game store is going to allow some of them is going to be up to their own discretion though. But still, despite this card shop being on the first floor and relatively close to the station, it's pretty good in terms of prices, so I definitely recommend checking it out because it's so easy to go to anyways. But this now finally brings us to the last store, the main Dragon Star. Now to get to the store, you have to wait in a very hellish elevator. But on the 6th floor of this building, right in front of the station, you have what is the largest card shop in all of Akihabara. The reason why I'm bringing you here last is because they don't have really good prices, they just have every card that you're going to need. Rather than starting your journey here, I recommend ending your journey here because as this physical Dragon Star store is the same as the online Dragon Star store, the prices here are going to be perfectly average. You know that there's going to be decent prices and you know there's going to be decent stock, so this is the place that you go to if you just weren't able to find your card anywhere else. One other good tech when you're going around Akihabara is that now you can bounce back between Dragon Star, Full Comp, and Raftel and price check all between those. Now, this is obviously going to be a lot of walking if you don't memorize the prices, which is why I recommend, again, using MyFlow and optcg because you can also send pictures to yourself as well of the stock so you can price compare and double back to these card shops very easily because these are the card shops that have the most stock. But so now, finally, let's summarize the stores that we've talked about in this video. For generic, all-encompassing stores for singles, I recommend Dragon Star, Full Comp, and Raftel. If you just want to sort through bulk for some buried treasure, check out Cardwings. For some niche promo cards and the best unofficial tournaments, check out Card Shop Pompoko. If you're gambling for a good deal, check out the smaller Dragon Star, but if you want to have more consistently good deals, check out Hobby Station and Cardon. And finally, if you want cards to send off to PSA yourself, go to Mercado, but if you want those cards already slabbed up, I recommend Magi or, of course, Fukuk Toreka. And so that would just about wrap up our video if we didn't have just one more card to talk about, because this whole time what I've been looking for is, of course, the 4-cost Ace Altar from ST30. And did I find it? Yes. I was looking for the card from anywhere from 2,500 yen to 3,200 yen, and I found it, granted a little bit scratched, at 2,480 yen. As we mentioned, the yellow sticker means that it's going to have a little bit of damage, and as we can see looking at the back, there is a very small white dot, which brings us to the last section of this video. How do you ask the staff for a card? It's honestly extremely simple. I don't know why I put this at the end of the video, but it just worked narratively. All you have to do is walk up to the staff after you've chosen which card that you want, and then you ask them, showcase. The Japanese word for showcase is showcase. So if you just say showcase and maybe sprinkle in a little onegaishimasu on the end there, so showcase onegaishimasu, then they'll give you the card that you're looking for. Once you select a card and the staff takes it out of a showcase, you can then check the condition of that card. If you think it's good to go, then you hand it back to the staff saying it's good to go or maybe not, and just proceed to checkout. It's honestly extremely simple, and if you're wondering where I actually bought this card, I bought it in Shibuya. Unfortunately, in Akihabara, as you can see, I looked through a lot of card shops. I saw it in only 3 card shops, and they just weren't really the prices that I was looking for. So I decided to just cut my loss for the day and check a different card shop in Shibuya. Tokyo is an extremely massive place with so many TCG stores that even though there's so many in Akihabara, you're not always guaranteed to get the best deals there. In fact, because Akihabara is very tourist focused, you're more often than not getting worse deals there than if you were to go to other card shops. It's for this reason that if you want me to make another video on the card shops outside of Akihabara, make sure to let me know in the comments. Liking, subscribing, these sorts of things let me and YouTube know that you really enjoyed the video and want to see more of them. And if this video gets enough traction, I will make another one on not only the rest of Tokyo, but maybe the rest of Japan as well. Let me know what other weird ideas you want me to try. And once again, thank you so much to optcg for encouraging me to make this sort of larger scale video. Taking a risk and putting a lot of time into a project that I don't know how well it's going to do is very risky because this is actually my job now. So optcg sponsoring this video has allowed me to bring this sort of content to you. Thank you optcg for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching all the way until the end. Very, very appreciated. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.